Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
To those of you who may not know the person who needs no introduction, I'm Paul Alcinas. I'm the director of the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission. In these opening remarks today for an event around health and our land use and the way that we treat our physical and built environment, I was going to begin by reviewing sort of the trajectory of public health practice, say since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, of which, of course, we in this community, in this area, are the poster child of that era of American and world history. And I was going to talk, a little bit to show the convergence, to talk about how in the industrial era, the risk was infectious diseases, cholera, and so on, and the responses. Then there was the era of economic development from the 1930s to 1970, where this momentum for economic development, we had other risks which came from the way of living that we were all engaged in. And then since 1970, this era of global stress and how public health practice has been trying to respond. Also, I was going to talk a little bit about the trajectory of planning, beginning with zoning being legitimized by the U.S. Supreme Court in 1916, based on a case right here from Northeast Ohio, Amber Realty versus the City of Euclid. And how over time we relied on management controls of land use and building controls, and it had the same kind of a trajectory as public health has, but independent of it through this era of industrial revolution, economic change of the 1930s through post-World War II development of low-density development and isolation of poverty, to today, where basically we're still back at our roots of traditional zoning and land use management, but a lot of good things have come along, like green building and other concepts that, like placemaking, that are helping us move forward into this new set of challenges. But instead of talking about that briefly, kind of to frame this event, I really want to talk about three things. The first is urgency. About a month ago, about 2 months ago now, Dr. Larry Schweiger, who is the president of the National Wildlife Federation, spoke at the Akron Roundtable, and I know a few of the people in the room were there. And he spoke with a PowerPoint presentation with even his own home videos from up in the Arctic Circle, showing the velocity of change that's happening to the planet. Time-lapse photography showing how massive stretches of the Arctic are now, ice is melting, and huge rivers flowing from glaciers into the oceans, where just a few decades ago there were no rivers, just a trickle of melt. And the sense of urgency. Also, we talked a little bit about the effect of these changes, these dramatic changes, the effect on natural systems, plant life, animal life, biodiversity, and the collapse that we are facing today. Real sense of urgency. The second event was, or the second issue is the scale of change that we have to go through that we're confronted with these challenges. And just recently, at Mayor Jackson's summit, Sustainability Summit, Dr. Peter Senge of MIT spoke. And what struck me about that was he was able, with numbers, to illustrate the degree of change that has to happen. So, for example, we talk about more fuel-efficient cars, going from 25 miles per gallon and cafe standards to 30. We literally have to get cars at 450 miles per gallon in order to begin to impact on climate change from the transportation sector. The other factor is the quality of our decision-making and conceptual frameworks that we use to do this work. If we have urgency, if we have a great scale of a mountain to climb, if we have to do transformational things, it's legitimate to ask, what is our theory of change? What frameworks are we using to get to those points? And we do have new ideas and concepts, and we're lucky to have sort of a lot of these global thought leaders like Janine Benyus of Buying Imagery and others who have been here in our community, and we have a relationship with them. So we have sustainability and other pathways that are helping us find these integrative, innovative solutions that respond effectively, not using the same old solutions, but new approaches to respond effectively to what we're dealing with. So today we have to begin to pose very fundamental questions. What is a healthy city, county, region? How do we get to be a healthy city, county, and region? And we have to put these questions at the very center of our public discourse. There are no more significant questions than that. And so finally, the last factor is our willingness to act. Larry Schweiger, in his presentation in Akron, made a comment that really impressed me. After going through this amazing information, compelling, amazing information, I was thinking about the 300 people that were in the room and what they were doing the next day as a consequence of getting that information. And Larry said that he and people he knows, parents that he knows, would do anything for their children. They would give their life for their children. As a matter of fact, when Terry in his presentation talks about our children, our collective children, what are we prepared to do for them? And that's the question we face today. So let's have at it. Thank you.